Good to see my friends from Innovation DuPage here in the studio. Dan Facchini, how you doing, my friend?
Good, John. How are you?
You guys have a good summer?
We did. We've been busy.
You've been busy as always. You take no seasons off. Innovation DuPage, a business incubator and accelerator, which is a fancy way to say what, Dan?
We help entrepreneurs and small businesses grow.
And from a seedling, a small tree to a big one, all stages in between.
Yes. So if you just have an idea, you can come to Innovation DuPage. We'll help you build that idea so that you can grow your business. Usually the most successful entrepreneurs come in and they're like, hey, I have this idea. I'm ready to go to market, but I need help with that. I need help attracting my first customer, or how do I get started?
You have funding from the Illinois Department of Commerce Economic Opportunity, and you're launching something cool with Green Tech, aren't you?
Yeah, and actually the grant is coming to us through the College of DuPage.
Okay.
So they're kind of our big sister
Yes.
through all of our economic growth, and that's one of their strategic pillars. So this has been great. But we are funding this clean energy incubation program.
That's awesome. How do people get involved in it, and what sort of business are you looking for?
We're looking for clean tech businesses throughout the region, and we're trying to support them in the same way that we help a lot of our regular businesses with business support, trying to find out what their needs are. We're doing a needs analysis as companies come in, and then we find a way to support them.
That's great. InnovationDuPage.org for more on that. And we'll dive a little bit deeper, but I want to bring in your guest today. You always bring some great businesses in. Today is no exception. The founder of Hanford Tech, it's Jake Mickley. Hello, Jake. Welcome to WGN.
Hey, John. Thanks for having me.
Did you like my question of the day about sensors?
I thought it was great.
Oh, thank you. And I
who would've
fooled
thought-
you.
Yes, you fooled me. I was into sheep with Scotland.
Yes. The canary in the coal mine. If you missed the question of the day or the answer, we recap them on the John Williams Show Fridays at 10:20. Anyways, Jake, what do? You developed and have developed software essentially that reads sensors,
That's
more
right.
advanced than canaries in coal mines.
That's right.
But you are essentially creating a system in which sensors read things for businesses, and you help that information be digested and spit it out to the right people.
That's right. Yes. So we've come a long way since the canaries. These are small sensors. They come in a lot of variety of sizes. The idea came from essentially a lot of experience, hands-on experience in the industrial sector, where you have a sensor, you've got a lot of information, but it's kind of trapped in one system or vendor. And we wanted to elevate that and share it across to other vendors. In doing so, I think you've got a more holistic view of what's going on in a facility or watching an asset, something of that nature.
See, I like sensors. I'm just a technology nerd. I love numbers coming in real time, which is great to watch and see. But the practical use is you can see things before they break, essentially, right?
That's right. That's the key. With a facility that needs to be running 24/7, for instance, any downtime is severe, and they can't afford that. So what we're trying to do is predict or detect a signal that's an indication that it's going to be off, whatever you're watching is going offline or is going to fail.
So a pipe is vibrating more than it should. Sensor catches it. It goes and interacts with your software, and you, text and email the right person?
Right. It's your choice. You want to text, that's fine. That seems to be one of the more popular features. We can send an email, or you can check periodically, go to a website and look for what alarms are firing, and get a more dashboard type of view into what's going on.
I can already think of one here. If there's ever 4 seconds of silence on WG, we may have something like that already, that the software then texts Bill Murdoch, the guy who runs our engineering department. Okay, we're just getting started.
We can work on that.
Yeah. We'll get into the green tech aspect of things too. InnovationDuPage.org, Hanford-Tech.com for more. Dan Facchini from Innovation DuPage. I got to say, Dan, you bring in the most unique blend of businesses. And I guess that's really what Innovation DuPage is all about, isn't it?
Yeah, we're industry agnostic by design. So this is kind of unique that we're focusing on clean energy companies like Jake's.
Yeah, when I was at your holiday party, I talked to someone in every sort of business. That was really cool. It must make your job fun.
It does. I get to dabble in a lot of different things. But at the end of the day, we're helping companies grow, and that's what we're there for.
Are you like me when Jake starts talking about the ins and outs of software? My eyes kind of glaze over a little bit.
A little bit, because I can't keep up with all the technical stuff. I'm just like, do you need anything? And if he tells me and I try to help him, then I've done my job.
How can Innovation DuPage help you, sir? Well, I guess, Jake, that's a great question. How does Innovation DuPage, how have they helped you?
Oh, they've helped me in big ways. And I think the prime example I wanted to share was when we were developing the software, and we were early to market, small team, not a lot of resources. We were getting requests that we need basically an environment to monitor buildings, large HVAC systems, and we didn't have the means to do that. So we talked to Dan, the folks at ID.
So people were saying, hey, we need this technology.
We need this, and we said it's just too big for us to tackle, essentially.
So you get a lot of doors that close.
That's right.
So you go to Dan and says, how do I do this?
That's right. So
and what happened?
And he offered help right away. So I think at the end of that conversation, within days, we were connected with a professor at College of DuPage. We got access to their world-class facility. These are HVAC systems, including the time and support to basically generate false negatives, problems that we could go in and detect. And that resulted in a patent. So we now hold a patent for that work, and we thank ID for allowing us access to that and connecting us in.
That's immeasurable. To be able to live test your software on buildings that know that you have their blessing to find negatives, to find false negatives, to find things, to test out that technology. Right. I mean, that had to accelerate and incubate your business in a big way.
Yeah, we considered ourselves fully incubated at that point.
I like that.
It was good.
When you said you needed a big building and you went to Dan for help, I assumed you were talking about his mansion on the northwest side, Dan, to use that. But no, you were talking about...
We don't have access to that.
Yeah, no one's allowed in there.
Maybe someday.
Exactly. Some of the green technology you were telling me about off air involves, there's no polite way to say this, the manure or the waste from cows heating up farms and facilities where these animals live. And sensors can play a big role in making that run efficiently and smoothly, right?
That's right. So what the approach there was, let's apply the same sensor technology. Let's look at that as yet another data point. What that ends up being really is the methane that comes off of the waste from a farm, and maybe this case a dairy farm. If it's captured and put through a system, we can generate clean electricity on the farm or even put it back into the grid.
That's huge because the methane from cows is one of the biggest drivers of climate change.
That's right.
It's the methane. It's not necessarily it's a lot of the other stuff too. So, okay, that seems like a highfalutin thing to do. Where does your company come in to make sure that it runs smoothly?
That's where the software comes in. Someone has to make sense of that, compile the data as it comes in, and then essentially certify the units that are going through make sense. So this amount of, let's say, manure goes into a digester and produces this amount of gas and then this amount of electricity. Does that all add up? And are there ways that we can make that more efficient? So
what are the sensors seeing, feeling, or monitoring that then gets plugged into your software to come up with the formula that works? What do they see?
Right. The gas, the flow meter. I think the canary in the coal mine inventor would be very proud of what we can do today. We can measure that at every point in the system. We can go all the way back to how many cattle were involved, how many dairy cows were actually producing the manure, and then downstream into the electricity, a kilowatt hour. So we can get measurements all the way across the system.
Is a lot of this so that farmer John and Jane can know the system is running smoothly or know that it's not and avoid going in that building as much as possible?
Right. For this client, the end consumer are farmers, essentially. So we want to help them. The bigger goal here is to make that operation more efficient, provide insight into, is there a problem? Let's still raise the alarm faster. And then over time, can we improve the overall process and help them generate more electricity?
If I'm a farmer or a business and I say, I want to know if my stuff is running more smoothly, do I have to go buy the sensors first and then call you? Or can I call you, explain the problem to you, and you will help provide the sensor? You don't make the sensors.
That's right.
But get the sensors on site or at least give them the number to call and then the software to build it all together. How does that work from if I call you today and I'm like, I want that on my farm?
We can go either way. So if you had the sensors and they're already being applied and in use and you've paid for them, certainly we want to tap into that information if possible. Or if you have a scenario that maybe we recognize or can map against our prior experience, we would do that too. In no way are we making or manufacturing the devices, but we can provide some recommendations if there's a need.
So I can come to you first and say, here's my problem, please solve it.
Sure.
And you can find out ways to do it.
Yeah.
Hanford.tech-tech.com. Before I let you go and we talk to Dan to wrap it up, but who should be calling you? Who should be reaching out? Who should be discovering what you're doing?
Really, it's a broad array. If you're in the business, could be industrial. And our recent examples are really more in the retail space. So we're watching self-service kiosks. So that's a wide
UPS stores.
Yeah, so
you're at so many of them in the country.
Right. At ILO, we're able to monitor thousands of these and then essentially bubble up the most problematic ones. We run the gamut. If you've got essentially a problem and you think a sensor could be a solution, we have the software to be able to supply.
I need to talk to my local Jewels. Sometimes I try and scan the same thing over and over again. I can never find the firewood button. That's we'll talk offline about that. Hanford Tech. Dan, I'm going to give you the last 35 seconds. Who should be reaching out to Innovation DuPage and all things that you do?
Yeah, any entrepreneur or small business in DuPage County, and beyond, feel free to reach out to us and we'll see how we can connect you with resources. But primarily, if you have a clean technology, if you have an idea, if you have a clean energy idea or related business, give us a call. We are recruiting companies. We are going to have our accelerator program starting in January. So we're going to be putting a specific cohort of companies through our regular owner to CEO program, which is our business accelerator program, but we're going to focus on the clean energy industry specifically for that. So it'll be some specialized industry specific training for that.
InnovationDuPage.org. It's great. Get started on it. You're in a great area out in Glen Ellen. Jake, great work. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks, John. I appreciate it.
Dan, you too.
Good seeing you, John.